Hi, everyone. Shayna J here, One Heart Mission. And I am privileged today to have Julia Desmond as my guest. She's a longtime friend, spiritual teacher, and founder of Needle Rock Farms and Meditations. And you should go there and go visit, see what she's got. Her CBD farm is gorgeous. All of her animals are gorgeous. She's doing the country thing in a really good way. And thank you, Julia, for being here with me today. I'm so excited.
You're welcome. Thank you for that lovely introduction. It's always nice to talk to like-minded comrades from all over the world like this. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great. I know. I just got chills when you said that. It feels really good. So, tell us a little about what you're into right now. What's going
Uh,
on?
sure. Well, I'm super excited because I'm an independent spiritual teacher and meditation teacher. I've been doing that for over 15 years. I take people through the awakening journey and shift people into a higher state of consciousness. So my newest project, which I just launched and I pretty much spent the last 6 months creating, is my new mastermind class called the Consciousness Accelerator. So I just launched that maybe a few weeks ago, and the course actually starts March 14th. And it's a mastermind group for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, creatives to really shift people from a low state of consciousness into a high state. So I really help people shift from, if people are feeling overwhelmed or anxious or ungrounded right now, especially with what's happening in the outer world, I really help them shift into a clear state where they can lead a more enlightened life, but more importantly, find their true path, their true calling, so
Yeah,
that they can have impact for humanity.
so important for that. And so I'm sure a lot of people are responding to that. I'm excited you're offering that. That's
Thank
great.
you.
That's so great. So, can you give me a little bit about how that might, are you going to cover anything around being present, being in the moment? What, tell me what you're going to do there.
Absolutely, because when people are stuck in the mind, they're either focused on the future or the past. So I know so many people are going through anxiety right now,
Yeah.
that anxious thoughts, the chaotic thoughts, they're fearing the future. So when you're in that state, you're not in the present moment. So my biggest first exercise is really helping to shift people receive that present moment awareness, because as you know, because you experience it, time is unlimited.
Yeah.
So the whole day seems so much longer, and you're shifted out of the future and really into this present moment awareness. So yeah, it's a huge part. But it takes twofold. It takes practice, but it also takes a shift in consciousness.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what do you see as are some of the challenges that people face that with staying in the moment or being present?
Just that overactive mind, they haven't shifted, they haven't received those brain shifts yet.
Yeah,
People can read any type of book they want, they can try practices, but most of the times it won't work because they haven't received that shift in consciousness. So we can also include our divine energy activations to help the brain actually shift into that present moment awareness. So it's twofold.
yeah, it is. And wow, and so yeah, because there's a lot of anxiety when you're in the future. And then
Yeah.
of course, if you're replaying your old story, that's going to bring anxiety as well. And then you add on top of that all the anxiety that's going on around the world,
Yeah.
like the multitude of people that are doing the same thing as you are. If you multiply that out, it's pretty painful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly. And one thing, when people are in their mind and when they're not accessing the present moment, it affects them physically. It ages them because of that mental stress.
Right.
They age quicker, they actually get physical disease, and emotionally, they're just not balanced. So it's to the benefit to reside in the present moment as much as possible to just stay healthy, to be in that vibrant, youthful glow. So.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That was the way I got awakened was when I fell off of a cliff.
Oh,
and
wow.
so, oh yeah, you don't know that story.
I don't think I remember it, maybe from years ago.
I'm not gonna go into it, but what happened for me in a nutshell was that when I was falling is when I got awakened.
Wow,
And I
incredible.
felt it and I was consciously aware of it. And I felt God like it in become all my cells. So when I landed and I woke up, I was totally in a whole different state and I was not who I was.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so there's a whole story about it, and magic all the way around. I did not have all the normal things about healing, but what I did get was I got the connection telling me what was actually going on with my body. And so what you're talking about is what I learned is how the mind is connected to the entire body and all of its organs. And those neural pathways are literally informing all the time. So the longer you're in a stress situation or fear or anxiety, the more impacted your body gets with that out of out of order, or you could call it diseased,
Right.
because you're not in ease any longer. And so you want to do everything you can to stay peaceful, because an open body, a relaxed body can receive more grace
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely.
conscious awareness. So you're probably going to be doing a lot of the relaxing techniques as well, and showing that the difference.
Yes, we'll absolutely do physical exercises. Breath work is so important.
Yeah.
Pranayama, utilizing that breath that people can do on their own when they are, let's say in the office and they're seizing up, then they'll just have that practical tools of what to do in modern day life.
Yeah.
But also when we meet as the mastermind group, we'll do this as a group as well. So.
Yeah. So it's constant, because it needs to be a new habit that's built up. That was the very first thing that I learned, was to keep deep breathing.
Yep.
And then I found the most oddest thing happened was that after about, I don't know how long it was, maybe 6 months or so of continually deep breathing while my body was uh I didn't have the conscious awareness then that was relaxing my body so that it could heal.
Right.
Because I healed 22 broken bones in 4 weeks. And I did it because I surrendered and I listened to what I was told. And then I taught that. So the key thing is having that open space, so that you can keep being relaxed. Oh, I was going to say, so after about 6 months or so, it became natural to deep breathe. I did not expect that, but it literally is. And actually, if I start shallow breathing, it becomes painful for me. I can tell it right away. So I go back into the deeper breath.
Wow. Incredible. Well, and the thing is, when you're shallow breathing or when you're not in the present moment, you're in resistance. Like your whole body is resisting, and that equals a state of disease, as you were saying. So when you do that deep breathing and access the present moment, your body shifts out of resistance into acceptance, and that's when grace can flow through your body and
Yeah,
higher consciousness. So.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's so it's so in your journey, did you have any challenges yourself with either wanting to, or staying in the moment, or was it even something that you were thinking you needed or wanted?
Oh, definitely. I mean, before I was awakened, I was definitely in the past in depression. I was definitely in the future, which is anxiety. I've experienced both before I got awakened and shifted into that high state of consciousness. And so, yes, I was definitely seeking the calm mind. The mind was just excruciating. It's exhausting. And I did have health problems. This is way back when. But
Yeah,
fortunately, I started my journey of awakening 20 years ago and was able to shift into that high state. And my health and healing has obviously flourished since then. So
Yeah, obviously. I mean, look at you. You're just rosy cheeks and yeah, and you've written a book too.
I have. I've written a couple books, and I do daily writings as well. I channel source consciousness. So source consciousness channels through me, and I write them and share them with the public. So,
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, so that's how you wrote your book. That's
oh
great.
yeah.
That's so great.
And that
Yeah.
started, that shift happened in 2011. So, wow, we're coming on 10 years ago when that source consciousness shifted me into being a channel for those writings. So, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how beautiful. That's so great. I'm sure that's really giving inspiration and shifting. It's like when I wrote my book, I don't know if you had this, but when I wrote my book on this, my experience of healing and the connection to divine, because that they were both in, they were one,
Yeah.
and I was in the oneness of it all. And I took me 8 years to write my first book.
Oh, okay.
That story, because first of all, I wasn't a writer.
Right.
And second of all, I wanted to make sure that every single word and every line in between the words, any space, had the transmission that I was gifted with to give out, so that even if they read the words, but they would read beyond the words.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
that's why you have to be careful of editors, because editors will come in and they'll shift the wording around. It's like, no, that's not how the transmission came through. So I did the same thing. My writings came through much quicker. I think I wrote my book in maybe 2 or 3 months.
that's great. That's so
um,
great.
but the hard part was transcribing from the notebooks into, the type version using an editor, because they want to change things. I'm like, no, this has to be in the purest source consciousness form. So
Yeah,
then I had to be very involved with for them not to edit. And like
yeah.
you said, change the spacing or the period or the slash, because it is, there's meaning in everything.
That's right. Every single thing. That's so great. We have a similar path there. I didn't realize that. That's so
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I think I had 25 editors because
Oh,
I had that problem. I had exactly the same thought and the same
yep.
desire and the same action because and I told them ahead of time, do
Yeah.
not change the essence.
Yeah.
Just, make the grammar better.
And of course, a traditional editor doesn't understand that. They have no idea what you're talking about.
No, exactly. And I even used some of my friends who were on their path, but still it didn't quite match up. So
Yeah.
I had to learn editing too.
Good, because you were preserving the essence of the words flowing through you. So.
Exactly. So I offer my book now for free on my website as a free download. So if anybody
Oh,
wants
cool.
to go there and get that, it's a good book. And I've got the 5 techniques that I was taught on how to heal my body with the connection of divine. So it's really it's a sweet piece of work. So anyway, getting back to mastering the moment. Well, this is all in the moment, of course, because now you're channeling source, and I do the same thing in my own way, and it's almost like I said about breathing. It not being in the moment anymore is like it's painful.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
it just doesn't work.
No.
Yeah. Do you find your days got condensed at all?
No, my days are very long. And I've been
Elongated.
speaking about that on my webinars recently, because that's how I've been promoting my Consciousness Accelerator course. My days seem like a whole week. And sometimes I'm just like, how is this day so long? It's just going on and on and on. But I do have to say there are days where I'm not in the present moment, and I do experience being in the future. But that's helpful to me because I know how to shift right away back into the present moment. But I also am tapping into the experience of what the majority of the human population is going through, especially here in America.
Right.
So like a few days ago, I had that experience where I woke up and I was 5 hours ahead. My mind was going through everything that I had to get done, and I was never going to get everything done. And so I just stopped myself, and put myself back into that witness consciousness and then back into the present moment. And then the whole day shifts. And then again, it's like it's like a week is a day. But I know how to explain that to my clients because this is their 24/7 experience. It's excruciating. And this is how I was like way before my shifts happened.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so it is interesting. And like you just said, it is a journey. You do the breath exercise. You have to keep your body in ship shape form because everything's affecting you and everything's affecting your consciousness. So
Right.
it is a daily mantra or routine. And when you do find yourself not exactly residing in the present moment, it's very easy to shift into it again, which is great. That's the gift.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little trigger for me is my body.
Mm,
But body goes into some sort of weird achiness or slowness or different ways it shows up. I go, oh, where's my head? I
yeah.
might not be in the moment, so I think I'll just stay right here, breathe a few breaths, and sure enough, 3 breaths will do it, and I'm right there. And hey, we all have a mind, so
Yeah.
we've got to manage it the best. But I find that my days are uh, go faster and I get more done.
Mm.
So I don't, I'm not sure if I'm having a different experience than you, what you said, because there are times when I can't go to sleep at night because it's like the next day is going to show up. And it seems like all I do is close my eyes and then wake up and the day is an extension of the day before.
Mm.
So in that way, it sounds similar. But
Yeah.
then I used to work 16, 12, 16-hour days getting all my stuff done as an entrepreneur. And now it's like 2 or 3, 4 hours at the most, and I'm done.
Oh, right. I experienced that as too, where things are completed like that. But I find now I've taken on so much more projects, more companies. Just I think that's the spirit of being awakened and having that source consciousness come through. That like it's like okay, now you can handle so much more. So here you go. But yes, I do agree that my tasks are like that, and I enjoy it and I get through it much quicker. But
Yeah.
my days still seem like 10 days.
Yeah. 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 I know. It's like when I wake up, I often have the thought, oh, what day is this? Because
Yeah.
didn't I already do what I need to? Yeah. No, I'm going to do it again. Yeah. So what do you feel are now with clients? What have you noticed with clients? Does anything stand out in their world for challenging to stay in the moment?
Yeah, they're in their mind, and that's where we all started, right? Being so in the mind. But that worry, there's a tremendous amount of worry, and the lack of time. So those two things are clear indications
Oh,
that
yes.
you're residing in a low state. So it's easily fixable. We have solutions, but you just have to do it. You have to get that energy, divine activations. You have to learn about it. You have to learn about your mind. But then as like I said, my mastermind class is 8 weeks. So as the weeks go on, my clients will be able to access this and recognize the higher state and what a much better benefit it is to reside in that. So yeah, it's really worry, anxiety, which is all in the future, living in the future, and that lack of time and the lack of self-care, which makes me sad because I do
Yes.
talk to a lot of women, especially women entrepreneurs, and they put themselves last. So again, that's another indication that they're not in the present moment because especially this year, putting yourself first with self-care is of the utmost importance. So
Absolutely, absolutely. Since I moved here, it was last July, and I started working immediately. Actually came here to help a friend do a bunch of things, and that lasted about 6 weeks. So when the 6 weeks was over, I developed a routine where my entire morning, and it turns out till 11 or 12 o'clock, is all self-care.
ooh, that's
That's when I
beautiful.
exercise, I meditate, I do what I love to do in my body that feels really good. And to get myself ready for a day, and every day is a beautiful day. So it's like, well, what do I want to wear today? And, you know, like, things I really have the time to actually sit and do that.
Yeah,
And I just don't schedule anything before noon
good.
unless people absolutely have to have me before then okay, I'll go to 11 o'clock and that's it.
Yeah,
But it's like, you're right. This is so key to right now, especially. And I think COVID has actually helped to teach us this,
hmm
you know,
yeah,
because we're home and we didn't really have that much to do while we were in major lockdown. I think it's shifted a little bit, but people now seem to be going back to their busy way instead of incorporating
yeah,
some of what they've learned. I think eventually everyone's going to get it though, that how
yeah.
important that self-care is.
I agree. I think everyone's been very touched by the global situation, whether they're conscious of it or not. Everyone's been touched, and I do feel that their behavior has shifted, some
Yeah,
more than others, and some are very awakened now because of it who weren't awakened before.
right.
But even the unconscious ones, they've definitely been touched by it. You know, they're leading their life differently, I'm sure. So,
Yeah, yeah. And it is part of the awakening, the wave of
yep,
awakening that's been happening for quite a while now.
yep.
So what do you feel are some of the values, some of the, you know, some of the really juicy stuff about being in the moment?
Uh, the juicy stuff. Well, you're just directly connected with source consciousness, and that is how you want to live your life because source will run through your body and will come out as far as your gifts, like how you're living your life, how you're going to make an impact. I think the juiciest and most valuable thing is the impact that you have on everyone else because we're not solo individuals here. This isn't what being a human is. We
Yeah.
are connected to everyone on the planet, including the planet and all the animals and nature. And so when you're plugged into the present moment, you have access to huge amounts of source consciousness channeling through you. And then it will come out in your business, how you raise your family, how you treat the environment. So for me, it's about the impact that you're giving humanity, and in return, you receive great fulfillment. So there is a self that is receiving good fulfillment because there is an impact happening when you are channeling the source consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And so many blessings like synchronicities
hmm
happen and just magic, things that you wouldn't expect
Yeah, yeah. A
happen.
lot of clearing happens too when a person initially gets linked in, as you know, as I know. The minute source kind of takes over your life, and there's a lot of clearing, but that's the third dimensional clearing. That's the lower vibrations. It all has to go to reside in this higher fifth dimensional vibration. So.
Right. So you're calling it a fifth dimensional vibration?
Yeah, the energies that are coming in, the golden age energies are fifth dimensional and higher. Absolutely. So I'm just linking people with the shift from the third dimension into the fifth and higher, from dark to light, whatever you want to call it, from the lower vibration to the higher. But yeah, for me, it's very fifth dimensional and higher. I'm very galactically tapped in to the universe. And so, yeah, I can experience the higher dimensions. So it comes out in my language like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was wondering because I don't ever refer to a certain dimension. I just call it a higher vibration.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't know where everybody is, and everybody is on a different plane or a different level in this
Yeah.
dimension, and how they're living their life is important, you know, to them. So I guess, you know, I kind of want to include all my family and
Yeah.
all my friends on whatever level they're at, and just, you know, say, hey, you know, there is a higher vibration available.
Yeah.
And so try it out and check it out, and you'll see
Yeah.
for yourself.
Exactly. Well, for me, I like the definitions between third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension. Third dimension is not in the present moment. It is stuck in the mind. It is living in the future and the past, which is anxiety, depression. It's that mental hamster wheel that people are on. So there are very specific characteristics. So I can help my clients just recognize where you are. And it's not like you're stuck in one, you're constantly flowing back and forth. But ideally, you want to get up into the higher vibrations of the fifth dimensional and
stay there.
reside in that
That's
more.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And reside in that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be so much fun for everyone. They just don't know what they're missing yet.
I know. But again, that's where that shift in the brain has to happen, because once you experience it, once you have that awakening or that shift, then you see, oh, wow, there is a different way to live life. And now I
Exactly.
understand what maybe my friend's been talking about all these years, or my partner, or, my colleagues. So,
Right. It's important. And that's why I love having these kind of interviews so that we can continue to talk about it and raise the vibration as we're talking and presence what it's like to
yeah,
live that way.
yeah.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Yeah. So for you personally, do you have any kind of super blessings or things that have happened for you by living in the moment?
Oh, my whole life shifted when I received that shift, like I said, over a decade ago, of a source kind of just starting to take over me. And my whole life's been a blessing since that moment, because the universe, you're aligned with the universe. And as I mentioned, clearing has to happen. But when you know it's because of a higher purpose, you are more in acceptance of it. So
Yeah.
life turns easy, when you're in the present moment. So I think everything's a blessing. I think the actual present moment is the ultimate blessing. So anything associated with it is the blessing.
Yeah.
I can only be grateful for it, because I know what my life is without living in the present moment, and it's excruciating mentally. And then the outer world doesn't react properly, and it's just disconcordant. So for me, just the whole present moment equals the blessing, So,
That's a good way to put it. I like that. I may use that as a tagline for this.
it's true though.
It is true.
Yeah.
Wow, Julia, thank you so much. I am so grateful that you had some time to give to share your wisdom with everyone. And I will share your website with everyone on the description of this video, and it'll be available on YouTube. So
Cool.
I will send you the link, but if anybody wants to just go to YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel and see everybody's wisdom around mastering the moment, which there's so much, and everyone has this vast experiences, and it's just really been a joy to hear them all. So I am very grateful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was great connecting. So
Thank you.